Government considers a raft of measures to stabilize fuel prices. Barbados and Dominican Republic support Zimbabwe's bid for a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council. And Zimbabwe urges prospective candidates to beat the Zimsec registration cutoff date. And in sport, Zimbabwe face hosts Botswana in the Mukuru Four Nations tournament set for this Saturday. These and other stories to follow. But first, rural communities are benefiting from the Presidential Rural Development Scheme, with the Agricultural and Rural Development Agency, ADA, spearheading industrialization and beneficiation.
From farms to industry and back on people's tables, the Agricultural and Rural Development Authority, ADA, is truly bringing into reality government's rural industrialization drive through production and beneficiation of fresh projects. Rural communities from Mwenezi, Zaka, Bikita, Wedza, Mondoro and Murombezi, among others, are benefiting from ADA's massive rural industrialization drive that is seeing farmers having access to markets for their produce to sustain their homes and livelihoods. ADA's best fruit processing plant in Norton is processing tomatoes, mangoes and guavas supplied by these rural communities, and is also in the process of setting up a bottling line to complete the entire value chain process.
ADA has been on a massive rural industrialization drive. As you can see, we have got programs that are already in place that are supporting farmers right up to value addition. Before, we used to sell semi-processed or semi-finished products. For mango and guava, we used to produce mango and guava pulp, which we then sell to other bottling companies, which will then produce drinks. Then our tomatoes, we used to process into tomato paste, that we also used to sell to other companies to then further value add into tomato sauce as well as tomato puree. But as ADA, we have now come up with another strategy to make sure that we go all the way along the value chain. We have now added a bottling plan. The bottling plan will enable us now to not to sell the fruit pulps, but are now then further value adding the fruit pulps into juice drinks.
As a result of its operations, ADA has, for the past 3 years, won Best Performing State Enterprise. And during this year's performance contracts and awards ceremony, President Emmerson Mnangagwa enunciated that the aim by government is to deliver, implement and impact.
The principles on managing for sustainable development results continue to anchor the systematic and successful rollout of our policies, programs and projects. This demands focus, resolve and persistence. As government, we all have a duty to implement, to deliver and to impact the lives and livelihoods of our fellow citizens. I'm pleased that the public sector in general is showing higher levels of patriotism, servant leadership, hard, honest work, unity of purpose, professionalism, and a selfless service for the benefit of all our communities.
Rural industrialization in Zimbabwe is a strategic government initiative aimed at achieving an upper middle income economy by the year 2030, and ADA is playing its part in ensuring rural development through the transformation of village business units, irrigation schemes and estates into hubs for agro-processing. Olina Ndori, ZBC News, Norton.
Let's talk about a very sensitive topic, fuel prices. Government is set to institute several measures to stabilize fuel prices, which will make motorists a bit more happy, including increasing ethanol blending of petrol as well as reviewing fuel taxes amid the Middle East conflict.
As per tradition, Cabinet met this Tuesday. Among the issues that came up for discussion was the pricing of fuel, which has been affected by the crisis in the Middle East. Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services Minister revealed that Cabinet considered increasing ethanol blending in petrol from E5 to E20.
Government also considered the option of increasing the ethanol blending of petrol from the current E5 to E20 level with a view of reducing the pump price of petrol on the local market. Appropriate refinements of the options are underway, and the necessary fuel price adjustments will be communicated in due course.
Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion Minister Professor Mthuli Ncube also came in on the issue of fuel, noting that the government is still considering reviewing of taxes that may see a decrease in the price of fuel.
We are also looking at further, fine-tuning of those levies for both petrol and diesel, and also looking at other taxes, the import duties, as well as the carbon tax that is being charged, and so forth. So this is work in progress, and we will be making announcements in the fullness of time on further adjustments to these taxes.
Between 2017 and 2025, Zimbabwe's tobacco production has gone up by 88%, marking a sharp increase in the country's agricultural sector, particularly looking at tobacco.
For the first time in the history of tobacco cultivation since 1895, growers earned a record of United States $1.2 billion. A total of 135,284 households are currently producing tobacco, reflecting a 37% increase from the 98,927 households involved in 2017.
The Minister of Agriculture, Dr. H.S. Masuka, noted that since the beginning of the tobacco selling season, prices have been rather low. He, however, said these prices are beginning to firm up, which is a positive for the tobacco farmers.
There is an expectation that prices will continue to firm, and we are beginning to see that happening. And always the lower reapings are presented first. As you know, the plant harvested at least about 9 times, 18 leaves on average. So you still start selling primings, and then you progressively move up the plant and have better quality. So my expectation is that certainly there will be a firming of prices, continued firming, as we've already seen.
The issue of drug and substance abuse continues to be topical, as it is affecting a significant percentage of the country's population. Of the population being affected by drug and substance abuse, youths take up 67%. Now, Cabinet discussed the manner in which this menace is being tackled and the strides that are being put in place to contain this.
Government targeted drug suppliers, distributors, and end users, resulting in 3,193 accused persons being apprehended. A total of 2,113 accused persons were also arraigned before the courts, while 493 convictions were secured.
The chairperson of the National Drug and Substance Abuse Committee, who is also the Minister of Defense, Honorable Opamchinguri Kashiri, outlined what needs to be done in order to contain this scourge of drug and substance abuse.
In the era of technology, we recommended as a committee that we up the game at the border by injecting as government resources to make sure that we build the capacity of those manning the border areas to identify these drugs so that we can stop them from coming into the country.
Cabinet also discussed the plans to develop targeted tourism development in the Eastern Highlands. Josephine Mugio, CBC News, Harare.
Further afield, Zimbabwe's campaign trail in the Caribbean has ended, with Barbados and the Dominican Republic expressing their support for the country's bid for a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council.
The campaign saw the President, Dr. Emerson Mnangagwa's Special Envoy, Professor Amon Murwira, engaging Caribbean nations, deepening bilateral relations as Harare seeks to strengthen its partnerships in line with global peace and security efforts. In Barbados, discussions are centered on enhancing economic partnerships and multilateral cooperation.
We discussed a number of areas that we can cooperate. Of course, Minister mentioned the areas of multilateralism, cooperating at the global level to ensure institutional change and reform at UN and other multilateral agencies. Zimbabwe is contesting for a seat on the UN Security Council, as Barbados is also contesting.
Discussions with the Dominican Republic included peace and security, climate resilience, trade and tourism, as well as collaboration in education, science and technology.
We are very happy to have you here in this very historic visit to the Dominican Republic, the first time after almost 20 years of diplomatic relations that we have a minister and a special envoy of the President here in the Dominican Republic. We wish you the best in the rest of your time in the Dominican Republic, and we will continue to strengthen our bilateral relations and economic relations between our two countries.
Elections for the non-permanent seats to the United Nations Security Council are slated for the 3rd of June. Olin Ndori, ZBC News.
The Constitutional Amendment Number 3 bill will enter the public hearing stage next week, with Parliament set to gather citizens' views from across the country. Our political editor, Bruce Chawanda, speaks to political scientist Dr. Lawrence Mandara on the benefits of the bill, especially how its provisions are a victory for national development.
For a long time, our country has been shackled to a 5-year cycle, which in itself is a ghost of the Westminster colonialism, right? And it breeds, as I said, a bad form of governance, which is not supportive of a long-term developmental trajectory, so to say. So I would think that within that framework of short-termism in our electoral cycle, it defeats the long-term planning of development, which normally looks at beyond 5 years. So the problem with the short terms is that in the first years, there is a preoccupation with the orientation of the leadership to the architecture of public policy. And then the middle ages are mostly a fleeting season of actual administration. And then the final years of the 5-year cycle are normally expended on the electoral campaigns. We see the mode changing to electoral toxicity, right? But the problem now with the electoral toxicity is that it poisons, it soils the political environment. It also paralyzes the state machinery, which is responsible for our development. So in this case, we are saying a 7-year cycle is ideal.
You have had the issues to do with permanent stability.
ZANU-PF Harare province has intensified its sensitization program for the Constitutional Amendment Number 3 bill to ensure that the citizenry is well informed on the proposed amendments ahead of the parliamentary consultation set for next week.
Parliamentary public hearings for the Constitutional Amendment Number 3 bill are imminent, and the ruling party ZANU-PF Harare province has embarked on a campaign to give supporters vital information required during public hearings.
Mutemo uyu we7 years taudira chikonzero chekuti iye zvimwe zvinhu zvakawanda zvakaperera panzira zvakanga zvagadziriswa zvinoita kuti mangwana tizokwanisa kunamata zvakanaka.
Mabvuku Tafara legislator Comrade Scott Sakupanya and ZANU-PF Harare provincial chairperson Comrade Godwills Masimirembwa articulated the importance of supporting the bill in relation to the electoral cycle.
5 years. 5 years of development that you get election. Yes. I want to sangana 2030. My elections tombomira.
ZANU-PF Politburo member Comrade Tendai Chirau is convinced there is need to support the amendment bill for the nation to realize massive development.
My elections right after 7 years.
Guest of honor and ZANU-PF Central Committee member Comrade Kudakwasheta Gwirei chronicled the successes registered under President Emmerson Mnangagwa's leadership, hence the need for party supporters to throw their weight behind the bill.
My election is too frequent. Anoitika mbuga ye 5 years. Saka zvinoita kuti vanhu ticoncentrate pama election instead of development. Saka isu semusangano takawirirana kuti tinofanira kuti tichinje mutemo iwoyo tiite kuti ma-election yedu apinde mumacycle e7 years.
The Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill seeks to extend the presidential, parliament and local authorities cycle from 5 to 7 years. The bill also allows the president to appoint 10 more senators, which expands the expertise base within the Senate. Bruce Chawana, SABC News, Harare.
The Second Republic's performance-based contracts and awards have garnered strong support from academics who commend the initiative for engineering significant transformation through cutting-edge innovation in line with the heritage-based education 5.0 model.
Riding on a wave of high-impact projects, the Bindura University of Science Education has been transformed, earning its Vice-Chancellor, Professor Edimwenje, the award for overall best performing Vice-Chancellor for 2025.
Professor Mwenje received the award at a colorful ceremony presided over by the President, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, last week. This comes at a time when universities are focusing on industrialization through research and innovation. Of note, Buse launched an industrial park with a cell phone, tablet and laptop manufacturing factory, being the flagship facility of the park.
I would love to congratulate the Vice-Chancellor for being the overall best performing Vice-Chancellor.
I would like to congratulate our VC, Professor Edimwenje, on such a prestigious award as being the best Vice-Chancellor. Amongst the projects he's done, it's this factory that we're running where we are manufacturing and assembling electronic devices which are being used by various people in Zimbabwe.
ZBC News caught up with the academic man of the moment, Professor Mwenje, who expressed delight at the accolade, attributing the win to teamwork that aligns with achieving Vision 2030.
As Bindura University of Science Education, we are just playing our part in making sure that we contribute toward a prosperous and empowered society. In line with Vision 2030. We want to thank government for the support that we have received, over the 5 years in the new republic. We believe that we have been given essential support.
Apart from rolling out an optometry and audiology clinic that serves locals, the university rolled out TITAS, an application that can speak 19 local languages, while construction of its Mazowe manufacturing plant in Mzarabani is 95% complete.
With the recent transition from NDS 1 to NDS 2, Bindura University is all hands on deck to roll out more life-changing projects that serve local communities and the nation at large. Tapiwa Machemeze, ZBC News, Bindura.
Sudan has reaffirmed its commitment to expedite the process of completing agreements targeting to unlock formalized cooperation across crucial economic sectors. Now, this came out when Sudan's top envoy to Zimbabwe, Ambassador Ibrahim El-Sheikh Albedazar Rizig Ahmed, met with the Speaker of the National Assembly, Advocate Jacob Mudenda, in Harare this Tuesday, where enhancing bilateral cooperation between the two countries took center stage. Sudan and Zimbabwe are currently working on a number of agreements focusing on investments, trade, education, health, and mining, among others. Ambassador Ahmed speaks on the roadmap to implement the agreements.
Discussed the bilateral relations between our countries, and actually it is historical and robust and good relations, and he ready to visit Sudan, and he is ready to cooperate with us in establishing our new parliamentary. Also, I briefed him about the ongoing efforts to sign some memorandums of understanding in many aspects, like economical, trade, political consultations, justice, and that is soon, inshallah, to be signed on some of them, because we are working now with the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade to get it prepared for signing.
The ruling ZANU-PF party will convene Politburo and Central Committee meetings at the party headquarters in Harare this week. In a statement, ZANU-PF Secretary General Advocate Jacob Mudenda said the Politburo meeting will be held this Wednesday, while the Central Committee is penciled in for Thursday. The respective meetings will commence at 10 a.m., with all members being expected to be seated by 9:45 a.m. In other news, tobacco prices are firming at the auction floors, with farmers anticipating yet another lucrative season. Our reporter Owen Mandova has more.
The Tobacco Industry and Marketing Board Chief Executive Officer Mr. Emmanuel Machaire said at the launch of an indigenous auction floor in Harare that tobacco prices are now averaging $2.85 per kilogram, in a sign that the prices are continuing to firm.
Prices have also stabilized across all floors, which is contract and also auction floors. As we speak, the average price on the auction floor was $2.84. So prices are firming up, and we have confidence that within very few days to go, prices will be as normal as last year.
It looks like it's now a different tune here at the country's auction floors during the 2026 tobacco marketing season, as farmers are now excited at the firming of tobacco prices, as farmers are now smiling all the way to the bank.
ndafara zvakanyanya nemutengo watiri kuona panapa $4 something atiri kuona muno atifadza zvakanyanyisa.
tichirasa kumashure kwese uku taingonzwa kuti afodya mapuraizi ari down ari chiba nhasi inangu tiri kufara.
tatengerwa fodya mune zvakanaka masapa wana ichema achiti mapuraizi akunayo nhasi tatengerwa
mapuraizi tiri kufara nawo.
Meanwhile, the growth trajectory of the industry in terms of value addition continues as more players join in support of the Tobacco Industry Transformation Plan 2.
We have taken this bold initiative to support the government's Tobacco Value Chain Transformation Plan 2, which talks about value addition and beneficiation. So as an indigenous player, we have taken this step to create value from the farm up until to the shelf.
The government is projecting tobacco deliveries of more than 500 million kilograms for this current season, up from 350 million kilograms of the golden leaf delivered in the previous year. And in terms of foreign currency generation, at least $1.5 billion is expected to be generated from deliveries of the golden leaf. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
Looking for more news? No problem. You can visit our website www.zbcnews.co.zw, and we're also on social media. We are on X, Facebook, as well as YouTube. Our handles are ZBC News Online, so do visit those handles and share your insights and comments as well. Well, stories to expect in the bulletin are as follows. Government urges prospective candidates to beat Zimsec registration cutoff date. And in sport, Zimbabwe face host Botswana in the Mukuru Four Nations tournament set for this Saturday. These and more stories will follow immediately after this break. Do stay with us.
movement is something steady, something quiet, unseen, unshaken, powering connection, supporting lives. This is Econet Infraco, Zimbabwe's largest private infrastructure group, comprising towers, power, and real estate. We build and operate the essential systems that hold the country together with scale, certainty, and purpose. We bring together three powerful engines of progress under one roof. Towers that carry the signal, clean energy that keeps it alive, and foundations that hold it all in one place. Because behind every connection, every transaction, every step forward, there's a quiet force. Econet Infraco, built for resilience, designed for growth.
Every day, Africa's financial institutions protect something priceless: trust. Trust to move money safely, keep economies running, and support customers whenever they need it. But the landscape is shifting. Security threats are rising, regulations are tougher, and customers' expectations are higher. Downtime is simply not an option. That's why financial institutions need infrastructure that is secure, resilient, and built to scale. Liquid Intelligent Technologies powers Africa's financial sector to operate safely, efficiently, and without interruption. From branches to data centers and the cloud, we deliver mission-critical connectivity with 24/7 operations that detect threats early. With world-class data centers and continent-wide disaster recovery, Liquid keeps services online at all times. Our network drives fast, secure transactions so banks and fintechs can serve customers instantly. We build the digital foundation for Africa's financial future.
The Zimbabwe International Trade Fair 2026 is here. It's Zimbabwe's premium platform for trade, innovation, and building global connections. For more than half a century, the ZITF show has been at the heart of innovation and integration of ideas behind Zimbabwe's industrialization and economic growth. At ZITF 2026, we take this a step further, positioning local, regional, and international businesses for global integration, driving Zimbabwe and Africa's transformation. Be a part of the journey to unlocking local, continental, and global opportunities at ZITF 2026 from the 20th to the 25th of April 2026 in Bulawayo. Register today and unleash your business growth. ZITF 2026, Connected Economies, Competitive Industries.
I was hoping just to get in a hello, but Daniel beat me to it. You know what, he caught the dub, but little did the boy know he was about to catch an L.
Dibs!
Well, we do apologize for that loss of sound from our Montreux studios. We now continue from our Horticulture studios right here in the capital, Harare. My name is Malvin Matava. Now, Brigadier General Million Ndlovu has handed over the reins of command at the 2 Infantry Brigade in Cranbourne, Harare, to his successor, Colonel Jabulani Mulambo. We get that report from Festus Mukungurutse.
Outgoing Commander Brigadier General Million Ndlovu handed over the stewardship of 2 Infantry Brigades to incoming Commander Colonel Jabulani Mulambo at a ceremony presided over by the Zimbabwean National Army Commander Lieutenant General Asha Walter Tapmanei.
This has been a long-held
tradition and custom in the Zimbabwe National Army for commanders to be changed from one responsibility to another. This here, takeover today, is the third we have undertaken at brigade level. This is normal, routine tradition which we are fulfilling. There is no controversy to infer. We are establishing the integrity of the command structure of the army following the changes that have taken place.
Brigadier General Ndlovu was appreciative of the support he received at 2 Infantry Brigade.
It has been an honor and privilege for me to selflessly serve as Commander 2 Infantry Brigade for the past year. I am proud of what we managed to achieve together. We faced quite a lot of challenges, but we managed to overcome all the challenges as we navigated as a team. Thanks to the wise counsel and guidance which were always given by the Commanders of the National Army.
The newly appointed Commander 2 Infantry Brigade, Colonel Mlambo, pledged to execute his duties with loyalty.
Together, we are going to hit the ground running, focusing on our mandate, mission, and objectives. We will work together to tackle challenges and seize opportunities in order to fulfill our mandate within the tactical area of responsibility.
The ceremony, which was also attended by members of the community and the corporate world, is a clear testimony of the Zimbabwe National Army's commitment to safeguarding national security. Festus Mkunguruse, SABC News, Harare.
On to another report. Tendai Munengwa talks about how government has instituted investigations into alleged illegal mining activities which have affected Mazowe catchment space, despite good rains received in the area this summer cropping season.
Mazowe Dam is considered as one of the big reliable sources of water for Mazowe citrus, tourism activities such as boating and fishing, but the prevailing situation where the dam levels remain very low despite the good rains received countrywide is now a cause for public concern. The state of this dam has attracted the attention of the local community and has also spilled into Chief Negomo's traditional court, where calls have been made for relevant authorities to intervene and come up with a lasting solution to save this dam from drying up.
Settlement area chibva nekudongoshawa kwaiswa dzimba muwetlands kwakanga irisosiye mvura inopindamo umu. Saka the little water yacho inesosi iri kuuyawo ikoko shomanini iri kusvika muzigomba haichasvike kudhamu. Saka dhamu harisina kubva mvura yakumirira kubva kumayadeni. Saka murikuona kana kudai
masvondo mairi akapera takatomboita musangano nevamwe vese vamataura vana zina vanana vanga vaine vanhu vakatowanda chikurukura nenhau yemusoro yekuba.
While reports are pointing to illegal mining as the major cause blocking the Mazowe Dam catchment area, Mines and Mining Development Minister Dr. Paulette Kambamura revealed that investigations are ongoing to establish the root cause of this problem.
There could be 2 cases or 2 scenarios whereby we might be having illegal miners and another case registered miners who are not adhering to proper environmental management standards. So we are going to be working with the Ministry of Environment and the Ministry of Lands as well to establish those facts. We need to protect the watershed, protect the ecosystem upstream and wetlands so that we do not affect the water levels in the dam. So currently it's work in progress.
Statistics from the Zimbabwe National Water Authority showed that the last time Mazowe Dam was spilled over was in 2023. But as we speak, while major dams countrywide are reported to be spilling, Mazowe Dam is reported to be at 13% full, a development which observers say calls for urgent attention. Tendai Munengwa, ZBC News, Mazowe.
Well, from that report by Tendai Munengwa, let's get back to our Montreux studios. It seems like Arthur and the team are ready to take over. It's back to you, Arthur.
Thank you so much, Melvin, for giving me a voice when I had none. And continuing with the bulletin from this side, the drive to promote rural industrialization is being upscaled in Mutoko district, with the Mutoko bioeconomy industrial park now operational and ramping up production.
The establishment of the bioeconomy industrial park in Mutoko by state-owned company Fine Out Engineering has become one of the landmark developments in the country's agenda to promote rural industrialization. Fine Out Engineering rebranded to Fine Out Bioeconomy, which is under the purview of the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education, Innovation, Science and Technology Development, revealed that the project, which started in 2005 to produce biodiesel, has been expanded to produce cooking oil and soap at a large scale.
So far here at Mutoko Industrial Park, we have 3 factories. One that does Jatropha biodiesel, and the other one that does cooking oil, and the other one that does soap manufacturing. The production capacities for Jatropha biodiesel is about 75,000 liters a day. That is the installed capacity. We have not yet practically produced at that rate, but that is the installed capacity. Right now we are working on mobilizing feedstock in conjunction with the local farmers, the Ministry of Agriculture, and also the local authorities who are available here. For our soap factory, we produce 500 bars, 1 kg bars per hour, and 2,000 tablets per hour. For cooking oil, the installed capacity can produce 5,000 liters of cooking oil per day.
Government is convinced that the establishment of the Mutoko Bioeconomy Industrial Park will positively impact on the country's balance of trade.
The concept that we have come up with as Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education is that we want to form clusters within provinces where we produce cooking oil, we produce stock feed, we produce soap, we produce grain.
When we talk about rural development, it is the feedstock from the farmers. It is the plant that value adds and beneficiates the raw materials produced by the farmers. It is, of course, the market which exists locally and which also exists in other provinces, which make this viable. Rural development should be anchored in the areas where the raw materials are produced.
It is an organization, an institution, and an asset that we believe is going to grow exponentially our GDP in terms of refinement and value addition of all agricultural products, particularly sunflower and jatropha.
Rebranded in 2020 to Fine Out Bioeconomy, the industrial park expanded its mandate to produce a wide range of products, including biodiesel, industrial and domestic detergents, laundry soap, bathing soap, and sunflower cooking oil. Plans to add animal feed to its production line are also in the pipeline. Kenya's Tifuje, ZBC News, Mutoko.
Survivors of tuberculosis this Tuesday shared powerful testimonies of endurance, stigma, and the long road to recovery as Zimbabwe joined the rest of the global community in commemorating World TB Day.
As the world marks World TB Day, the fight against tuberculosis is being told not just through statistics, but through the lived experiences of survivors. Here in Harare, we spoke to some individuals who have battled the disease and lived to tell the story.
nguva zhinji yakapera tichifamba tichienda kunotsvaga rubatsiro rekunze zvakaita kumaprofita kuti nyanga vachiti mwana aroiwa panguva yacho iyoyo vasingazivi kuti vari kutoita sei, vakutorera urwere.
Ndakatanga kuona miri uchidzikira, ndikatanga kutadza kuatenda kuchikoro nemhaka yekurwara, kukosora, chest kurwadza. Zvinova izvo zvakazondiita kuti muna September ndiende kuchipatara. Mushure mekuitwa x-ray ndakazoonekwa kuti ndandine TB, ndo pandakatanga kurapwa. Asi pandakaonekwa ndane TB, nguva yakanga yafamba. Ndakanga ndamunhu anga akurwarisa ndisakwanise kutofamba. Munguva iyoyo ndanda kufamba ndiri pa-wheelchair.
The diagnosis, according to the survivors, brought not only physical strain but emotional distress, worsened by stigma from the community.
Pastigma pampakaoma. Ndepirwa chikafu muplate yeplastic, then mukapu yeplastic. Ndichipedza kuishandisa yezvaipiswa. Then ndairara pamucheto wewindo. Kawindo kadiki ndo kainge kakavhurika. Ndichimuka makusenda itanga ndanzi usati waenda unogeza tanga waburitsa mablankets ako.
TB remains one of the leading infectious diseases, but it is both preventable and curable, especially when detected early and treatment is followed through consistently.
TB ngumkhuhlane olaphekayo, ngumkhuhlane njalo ovikelelayo. Okuqhakathekileyo ukuthi nxa ungabona usulama symptoms ze-TB, phangisa ukuya esibhedlela uyehlolwa ukwenzela ukuthi ulatshe umkhuhlane we-TB ungakayi phambili.
As the world intensifies efforts to end TB, survivors here in Zimbabwe are turning their experiences into a message of hope, urging others to seek help early, complete treatment, and break the stigma surrounding the disease. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Harare.
The Office of the President and Cabinet has launched a whole-of-government approach training for the Zimbabwe prisons and correctional services aimed at educating the security cluster of its role under the National Development Strategy 2.
In November 2025, the Second Republic launched the National Development Strategy 2 to run from 2026 to 2030 in its pursuit of making Zimbabwe an upper-middle-income society. Central to this achievement was the adoption of the whole-of-government and society approach, which will be used as a guideline to the implementation of NDS2. This Tuesday, the Office of the President and Cabinet launched the inaugural whole-of-government approach training for the Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service, aimed at the inclusion of the security cluster as a critical stakeholder of Vision 2030.
It is so essential that security services don't get left behind. The more we bring security services into the fore of socio-economic development planning and the development trajectory, it makes it easier for us to be able to implement a number of policies. So, for example, we've managed to stop smuggling because we roped in the security services with the context of them understanding the value they're adding.
The initial phase of the program will see the top brass of the ZPCS trained first, with a provincial rollout expected over the next 6 months.
Their main role in terms of national development planning is to be able to realign the citizenry who would have gone outside or colored outside the lines, to realign them to the context of where do we want to go as a country. That's what we call sovereign discipline. And so for us, they are at the center of enforcing or instilling Ubuntu, instilling sovereign discipline in our citizenry.
The Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service Commissioner General said the previous silo-based operations often led to fragmentation and duplication of efforts, challenges which will be addressed by the whole-of-government approach.
Historically, silo-based operations have led to fragmentation, duplication of effort, and inefficiencies in service delivery. The whole-of-government approach addresses these challenges by promoting coordination, shared responsibility, and alignment of efforts across the government.
Commissioner General Chihovu also said the approach comes at a critical time for the ZPCS as it intensifies its focus on transforming correctional institutions into centers of rehabilitation and successful reintegration. Panashe Nagoli, ZBC News, Harare.
It is just a few days before the registration deadline for the November 2026 Zimsec examinations, with government urging prospective candidates to beat the cut-off date. The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, Mr. Moses Mike, confirmed Friday, the 27th of March 2026, as the cut-off date adding that schools should not shut out learners who still want to register.
Registration of all examinations is still ongoing, and if we have any reports of any schools that is saying they've already closed, please, as parents, you understand you have got to come to the ministry and give us reports. The deadline is the 27th of March, and the parents are encouraged to go and pay to the respective schools where their children attend. And if you have got problems, each district has got a district schools inspector. That's where the parent must be able to go. If you don't get any joy from the district schools inspector, you then go to the provincial education director, now called the chief director, provincial education services. If you don't get any joy, I think our lines are still open. Our communication department is very vibrant. We will continue to entertain. Let's not wait for the last day.
Well, we're going to take a break, but we will be back immediately after that. Do stay with us.
At CBZ Bank, we understand the unique challenges and needs of those in the mining sector. So we offer a comprehensive suite of financial services tailored specifically for this sector. Our lease finance scheme lets you easily acquire heavy mining equipment without breaking the bank. And with value chain financing, we help streamline your operations by providing funds for input suppliers and buyers within your supply chain. Need extra cash flow? Our overdraft facilities are here to help bridge any gaps in capital while you wait on payments from clients or investors. But that's not all. We also provide insurance services to protect against unexpected events that could disrupt your business, risk advisory and financial advisory services to ensure wise investments and strategic planning. CBZ Bank is committed to helping you succeed in the dynamic mining world. Trust us to be your partner every step of the way. CBZ Bank, partners for success.
Good evening and welcome to the greatest show on earth. This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DStv Compact and get the best football on us.
Thank you so much for staying with the Business of May news. And in fact, our first port of call after the break is indeed business news. The country's trade development and promotion body Zimtrade says that the COVID-19 pandemic provided key lessons on how to shield the horticulture sector from global geopolitical tensions as well as natural phenomena.
The local horticultural industry has been on a growth trajectory over the years, and last year alone, at least 200,000 metric tons of horticultural produce was exported. And this year, the industry was projecting a 10% increase in horticultural exports. However, those projections seem to be off the rail, courtesy of the raging Middle East conflict, which has seen global oil prices increasing by more than 50% over the last 3 weeks, but also access to some of the traditional markets in the Middle East have been rattled, affecting local horticultural producers. Executive Director of the Horticultural Development Council, Mr. Clarence Mwale, gives an insight on the full scale of the impact.
We get into the export season, we are facing a huge challenge with freight costs having already gone up. Some of our flight options have already been cancelled. Some will have to reroute to try and avoid the conflict. It's proving to be a difficult season unless the conflict ends soon.
I spoke to the Export Development Manager of the country's trade promotion body, Zimsec, Mr. Tatenda Marume, who said the country has learned some key lessons from the COVID-19 pandemic in terms of how to be resilient against some of these raging geopolitical risks.
In terms of mitigation is to design resilience into our export strategies, and we do so by diversifying our markets. Traditionally, our horticulture, our fresh produce was being exported to the European Union, but now we have significant volumes that are also going to the Middle East. We are also exporting to Southeast Asia and some within the region.
Stakeholders are hopeful that the conflict may soon come to an end in order to restore normalcy in a bid to attain the anticipated growth in exports for the horticultural sector by at least 10%. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
Will the Warriors succeed in Botswana? Find out next in sports after this break.
The Ministry of Health and Childcare, led by the Minister, Honorable Dr. D.T. Mombeshora, the Deputy Minister, Honorable S.T. Kwidini, and the Permanent Secretary, Dr. A.J.V. Maunganidze, joined His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, and the nation in celebrating the birthday of Her Excellency, the First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa. Your Excellency, your unwavering commitment as Ambassador for Health continues to inspire the nation. From championing cervical and prostate cancer screening to guiding the youth through the Gota Nanga initiative, promoting sexual abstinence and combating drug and substance abuse. Your leadership has touched countless lives. You remain a true pillar of health promotion, strengthening Zimbabwe's path towards universal health coverage and contributing meaningfully to the nation's Vision 2030. On this special day, we celebrate not only your years, but also the transformative impact of your work, and we wish you continued strength, health, and inspiration as you serve the people of Zimbabwe. The Ministry of Health and Childcare, equity and quality in health, leaving no one and no place behind.
Every beautiful sunrise begins with a fresh promise. From the early morning mission, the midday hustle, until the late midnight session, a sip of joy in every hand. We share the natural joy from the African heritage, either online or offline. Day in, day out, 24/7. It's pure, it's fresh, and it's real. It's locally available. From Zambezi to Limpopo, Checheche to Chachacha, it's always next to you. Captain Ginger Wise, a sip from our heritage.
Some things don't arrive, they've always been. Not for a day, for all of time. Until quietly something shifts. Moving from someday to now. Women are not honored in time. They are woven through it, shaping every story, every voice, every breath. We are because she is, and because tomorrow they will be.
Happy birthday, Amai, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa. The Air Zimbabwe Board, management and staff extend warm birthday wishes to the First Lady of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa. Your remarkable philanthropic work and nurturing spirit continue to inspire hope and bring positive change to many communities across the nation. Your dedication to uplifting lives and promoting the well-being of Zimbabweans is truly commendable. We wish you many more years of impactful service and good health. Air Zimbabwe, the pride of a nation in flight.
We return with sports news spotlighting the Warriors. Now, the Zimbabwe national football team, the Warriors, will kick off their Mukuru Four Nations tournament with a clash against host Botswana in the second semi-final on Saturday evening at the Obed Itani Chilume Stadium in Francistown.
Inaugural Mukuru Four Nations tournament is set to ignite regional rivalry within COSAFA, while also providing teams with a valuable competitive platform. Six-time regional champion Zambia will open the campaign with a clash against neighbors Malawi in the first semi-final set for 3 p.m. before host Botswana take on Zimbabwe later in the evening. The Zebras and the Warriors will be eager to bounce back after disappointing performances in their recent international outings, making Saturday's encounter a crucial test. For Zimbabwe, the tournament comes at a pivotal time with head coach Marin Marinika expected to utilize the matches to assess a wider pool of players ahead of key assignments later this year. The Warriors are building towards the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers, and the technical team is keen to strengthen squad depth, test combinations, and identify players capable of stepping up on the big stage. Marinika has already emphasized the importance of giving opportunities to fringe and emerging players as the team looks to strike a balance between experience and youth heading into more demanding international assignments. If Zimbabwe progress to the final, they will face either Zambia or Malawi, while the losing sides will contest the third place playoff on the 31st of March. Meanwhile, the Warriors conducted their first full training session this Tuesday with the bulk of the foreign players available ahead of the friendly encounter against Highlanders. Also, the Zimbabwe Football Association has announced gate charges for the friendly match against Highlanders at Babafield Stadium this Wednesday. The rest of the ground tickets are pegged at $3 United States, while school children in uniform pay $1. Mutoko Stume, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Do let us know what your thoughts are on the Warriors' possibilities. In other news, still on football, just 4 matches into the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League season, some worrying patterns are already beginning to emerge at the bottom of the table.
The international break has offered teams a chance to reflect, and for some, the numbers point to a poor picture. One simple truth, teams that score and are resolute at the back tend to get results, while those that are struggling at both ends of the pitch, warning signs are already emerging. Manica Diamonds are yet to register a single point, and perhaps more troubling, they are still searching for their first goal of the campaign. The Mtare-based side has also conceded a staggering 8 goals in just 4 matches, while failing to trouble opposing goalkeepers. It is a similar story for Triangle, where without a point and a goal, leaving the two sides rooted at the bottom of the standings. Triangle survived relegation last season by just a single point, and if they are to avoid a similar battle this term, they need to start picking up points. New Boys Agama have also found life in the top flight difficult. They have 1 draw, scoring just 2 goals in 4 matches. Their defense has been porous, conceding 7 goals, making it difficult for them to pick up points. Tier 1 are another side surprisingly in early trouble. They have just 2 points, although with the squad they possess, it is widely expected they will soon find form. The Midlanders finished 5th last season, their best campaign after years of inconsistency in the league. Newcomers FC Hunters are also yet to score, but they've shown defensive solidity, keeping 3 clean sheets and picking up 3 draws before capitulating against Scotland. They are led by veteran Nesbet Yabo Saruchera, who is known for producing well-drilled teams, although his sides have often struggled for goals. For the teams with ambitions of survival, how they start is usually defining. History in the Premier Soccer League often shows that slow beginnings make the road to recovery significantly steeper, especially in a league where margins are tight and consistency is key. The international break may come as a timely reset for struggling teams, offering a chance to regroup and possibly reinforce their squads with the transfer window still open. It might be early in the season, but the warning signs are already there, and what happens in the coming weeks may determine the future of some clubs in the Premier Soccer League. Lawrence Trusida, ZBC News, Harare.
Definitely some worrying times for the teams at the bottom. Further afield, the All Africa Junior Golf Championships teed off in Nairobi, Kenya this Tuesday, with Zimbabwe's junior golfers part of the cast.
In the boys division, Monesu Chimini is well placed in 10th after a round of 3 over par, leaving him within striking distance heading into the next round. Nathan Van Rooyen endured a challenging day on the course and sits in 18th on 5 over par, while Tadiswa Katoma carded a 9 over par round to lie 38th on the leaderboard. South Africa's Andries van der Vyver set the early pace, firing an impressive 4 under par to take the clubhouse lead. In the girls' division, Miriam Masia posted a 7 over par round to sit in 28th place. Lily Ascot and Zarina Makwarimba returned scores of 13 over par, placing them in 53rd position. South Africa's Penyo Sibata leads the girls' field after carding a solid 3 under par round. Zimbabwe is 6th in the team standings and will be aiming to improve when round 2 gets underway this Wednesday. The Golf Championships also serve as the official qualifier for the Toyota Junior Golf World Cup in Japan and will conclude on the 26th of this month. Anna Shemurumbedzi, ZBC News, Harare.
Up next, let's take a look at the weather.
Good evening, Zimbabwe. I'm Runako Manzira, and welcome to today's weather report and forecast. Yesterday, we had some light showers in the eastern parts of the country. This was due to remnant moisture in the atmosphere. Today, though, we had some cloudy conditions accompanied by light drizzle in the southern parts of the country due to some cooling southeasterly winds. Across the country, by afternoon, it became partly cloudy and warm with some isolated thunder showers. We're expecting a warmer week ahead, so remember to stay hydrated. Getting into our satellite picture, we're expecting partly cloudy conditions to persist over much of the country with some isolated thunder showers in the north. And for our minimum temperatures tonight, we're expecting it to be mild countrywide, although some overnight showers in Chiredzi with 20 degrees and a bit warmer in Kariba with 21 degrees. And for our maximum temperatures tomorrow, it should be warm throughout the country, warmest in the Zambezi Valley with 27 degrees in Victoria Falls, 30 degrees in Kariba, and in the southeastern parts as well, Chiredzi with 28 degrees Celsius. Getting into our detailed weather forecast for Bulawayo tomorrow, we should have cloudy conditions and mild daytime temperatures due to those southeasterly winds. In Matobo as well, cloudy conditions for tomorrow, mild becoming a bit warmer. In the afternoon, in Gwanda, cloudy for tomorrow, becoming less cloudy as the week progresses. In Gweru, it should be cloudy for most of this week, becoming less cloudy next week. In Mashingo, cloudy for tomorrow, becoming warmer as the week progresses. In Mutare, partly cloudy conditions, a mild tomorrow, although warm daytime temperatures further into the forecast period. In Nyanga, partly cloudy conditions with a 40% chance of rainfall on Saturday. In Marondera, it should be cloudy and mild for most of this week. In Harare, it will be warm, although a 30% chance of showers expected for Saturday. In Kadoma, cloudy conditions for Wednesday and Thursday with warm daytime temperatures. In Chinoe, 30% chance of rainfall on Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday as well. In Victoria Falls, some rainfall for Thursday, Saturday as well, with warm daytime temperatures. In Lupane, it should experience some brief cloudy periods throughout the week. In Bindura, some cloudy conditions as well, with some showers on Saturday. In Kariba, it should be warm throughout the week and into next week as well. This has been our weather update. Thank you for tuning in, and it's back to the main desk.
Well, a slight reprieve from the rain, but we won't let up giving you news from our main news desk. My name is Arthur C. Evans. That's all we have for you. A big thank you to Susan Masona and Melvin from our Pocket Hill studios. From the team behind the scenes to you, thank you. Good night. Until we meet again. God bless.